So just to kind of set the stage, and I talked about it earlier, you've won a contract and you've got a marking requirement. And some people, the first time they see this, they don't know what MIL Standard 130 is. They have no idea what they've just got themselves into. But luckily, you have professionals that can help you maneuver this MIL Standard 130 compliance. So in setting the stage, when you have this requirement and it's in the contract, Dan's going to talk to you about, what some of the things you need to do around choosing the correct label and plate to fulfill the obligations of that contract. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Dan, and Dan is going to provide you with some valuable information around, first, choosing an IUID label or plate to meet your obligations. Dan?
Sharif, thanks so much. Okay, so you have this requirement for MIL Standard 130 or IUID compliance. You need to mark your assets with an IUID label. When you're meeting the compliance requirement, this IUID label or plate has to do two things. One, it has to be adhered to the asset for its entire life cycle. And two, the 2D data matrix barcode or the unique identifier that's created also has to be readable for the lifetime of that asset. So when you're choosing an IUID label or plate, you need to be sure that you're choosing the right material and the right marking method that's going to be able to withstand those requirements. So you'll see in this chart that we have here, if you look to the left column, the materials that we list, starting from the top, photo-etched aluminum, going downward, polyacrylic, and then metallized or just regular polyester material. These are the most popular materials that are used today in meeting MIL Standard 130 and IUID compliance requirements. So how do you know which one to choose? Because there's two things to keep in mind here is the different material types also come with different costs, but you know that you have to meet that requirement for compliance. The best way to do this is to simply identify what are the environmental conditions that these assets are going to be exposed to. Are they going to be indoors? Are they going to be outdoors? Are they going to be exposed to harsh chemicals or extreme heat or cold conditions? So if you take a look at this chart, and let's start at the bottom with the polyester or the metallized polyester. These have a low, or in the case of metallized polyester, a low to medium wear and tear environment. These types of materials are perfect for any type of indoor environment, electronics, as we see here, inside protected areas, under the heat shield of firearms, low surface energy plastics when it comes to metallized polyester. These two material types also offer the least cost. So for example, if you're marking, let's say, laptops, polyester or metallized polyester would be perfect for that environmental condition. As you move up to polyacrylic, this is a medium to high wear and tear. This is for certainly outdoor environments. If the asset is going to be exposed to UV rays, the sun, that can do a number on a polyester label. That will cause the 2D data matrix barcode to fade. And once that fades, now that label is in complete non-compliance. So you don't want to have a DCMA auditor completing an audit and they go to scan a barcode that's been applied, let's say, a year ago. If they find they cannot read that, you're in a non-compliant situation. So you want to use a more permanent marking method than the thermal transfer process method that's used on the polyester material. Polyacrylic material uses a laser etched marking method, which is a more permanent mark designed to be exposed to UV rays, rough industrial environments, weapon systems, engines where oil or perhaps acidic chemicals, acetone, are going to be splashing against the asset, for example. The polyacrylic, using that laser etch marking method, it's a more durable marking method, more durable material, more suited for that environmental condition. And then as we move up to photo-etched aluminum, this is the most durable material and marking method that you can use in compliance with MIL Standard 130, dealing with heavy outside uses, harsh acidic chemicals, abrasive situations, using a metal photo process or even a laser etch process on either aluminum, with laser etching on aluminum or metal photo. Either one, that is for your highest or most challenging environmental condition. Now, if you're not sure what the environmental condition is, you want to check with your KO, your contracting officer, and have them give you some information, because you're the responsible party to apply these labels. You want to get that information, and then once you know what that environmental condition is, you can choose the appropriate material that's suitable for that condition. And if you went with someone like A2B Tracking or a vendor who's going to be supplying you these labels, you want to provide that information so that the labels that you're being supplied with are going to be fully compliant, not only the day that you apply the labels, but also for the entire life cycle of those assets.